Murthy for being such a wonderful moderator. I request Ashwini ma'am to hand over the token of appreciation. To begin the journey of paper presentations, I think the first key requirement is we need to have very capable chairpersons, and today we are very privileged to have such people amidst us. To introduce and invite them, I call upon Ms. Nasreen, Coordinator, Department of Commerce.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am glad to introduce the chairperson of the day, Dr. M. Bugley. Sir is a professor of management practices and human resource with industrial sociology, applied psychology. He has visited many parts of the country, to name a few: Japan, Thailand, South Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, and many more. He was associated with Ajoyce University, South Korea, with Management Department for postdoctoral work discussion. He has published more than 110 papers, keeps higher research interest in empowerment, cross-cultural area, HRD, and HR strategies. He was awarded an honor with Best Research Paper Publication of 2001 by ISTD. Presently, sir is associated with Jain University as a PhD guide in management studies. He is truly a source of inspiration and energy for all of us sitting here. I request Sheetal Hukeri, Coordinator, BCom Jain University, to hand over bouquet and welcome sir. Welcome, sir. It is an honor to introduce our second chairperson for the day, Dr. Vinod Kumar Murthy. Sir is an industry-turned academician who has vast experience of 17 years in engineering industry and 14 years in academic. Sir holds an engineering degree in mechanical discipline. He is an MBA in finance and marketing and has done his PhD in finance. During his engineering career, he has served organizations like Westman Halber Sheet Fogging Limited, LML Limited, Roto Pump Limited, Madhusudan Nippon Limited. He has been to Germany and Bahrain for professional assignment. Sir was awarded with Saraswati Seva Puraskar by Lion International Club, Kanpur in the year 2008 for his significant contribution in academic. He has won second prize in Best Doctoral Paper Competition in 10th International Conference held at IIM Bangalore during 6th-9 January 2013. Besides the domain of finance, Sir has a special passion towards data analytics, and he is currently engaged in writing books on multivariate data analysis. He is a certified trainer for IBM Career Education for Business Transformation in the area of predictive analysis. His research interest lies in developing corporate bankruptcy prediction model using advanced data mining tools like neural network, adaptive boosting, random forest, and genetic algorithm. He has been teaching subjects like security analysis and portfolio management, international financial management, and multivariate data analysis. Sir at present is associated with iNurture Education Solution Private Limited, Bangalore as Academic Head Financial Services. He loves to share his knowledge about statistical package for social sciences and conducted several workshops FDP on data analysis through SPSS. It is a privilege to have you with us, sir. I request Ashwini ma'am, Coordinator, BMS, Bangalore, to hand over bouquet and welcome sir. I request sir to take his chair. Welcome, sir. I am very happy to introduce Rapporteur for the day, Mr. Suresh C.K. Sir is currently working as a coordinator for Postgraduate Department, Jain University, having more than 15 years of experience in academic and has also published 2 papers this year in marketing in Redix International and Android International and has attended various conferences in and across Bangalore. Currently, he is pursuing his PhD in Jain University and about to submit his thesis next month. A warm welcome to you, sir. I request Srinivas ji, Coordinator, Jain University BCom, to hand over bouquet and welcome sir. Thank you, sir.
A couple of rules that I would request all the participants to remember. You will be given a time slot of 8 plus 2 minutes. At the end of 8 minutes, we'll have one person show you the number 8 in a big card that's written out for the same. We will not stop you for that. We have Ms. Priyanka sitting there who will do that job. And at the end of 10th minute, we are going to bell and request you to stop the presentation there. And the session will open for QA for not more than 2 minutes. Please keep that in mind, and I'll hand over the session to Nasreen.
We begin with our first paper presentation. First paper presenter for the day, Professor Manjula Shekhar, and co-author J. Shubha Gaikwad from MAC for Women's College. Ma'am's research topic is Microcredit, a structured credit delivery approach for rural development in VUCA environment.
Thank you, Nasreen. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shubha Gaikwad, and me along with my colleague, Assistant Professor Manjula Shekhar, will be presenting a paper on microcredit, a structured delivery approach for rural development in VUCA environment. This study is based on a UGC-sponsored minor research project titled Sustainable Development of Rural Women Entrepreneurs through Microfinance, a study in Bangalore Rural District. Coming to the need of the study, it was felt that sustainable development would have to include a holistic contribution of various factors and components, and those components were identified as various sectors: economics, administration, social, assistance, management, etc. And when we talk about these sectors, it could be with relation to your agriculture, banking, infrastructure, or otherwise, and then economics with relation to your employment opportunities, income growth, enhanced salaries, production, etc. And administration with specific relevance to training, functionality, competitiveness, and institutional building. And coming to the social aspect of it, poverty alleviation and rural women participation, gender equality, diversity, education, and health were identified as the factors. And coming to assistance, marketing, financial, and training assistance and support services were identified as the components which would help train these rural women. And then management with relation to decision making, negotiations, and strategic partnerships were identified. Now, keeping these factors and components in mind, we are presenting the paper with the focus on microcredit as a structured delivery approach for rural development in VUCA environment, with specific reference to the Bangalore Rural District. Then with reference to the review of literature, after going through the review of literature, we have arrived at 4 objectives for the study. And the first one is to study the status of the rural women in VUCA environment in Bangalore Rural District. And next, to study the microcredit as a structured credit delivery approach, and to study microcredit's contribution to rural development in VUCA environment, and to provide suggestions, if any, to enhance the microcredit delivery approach. Coming to the research methodology, the study was limited to the 4 taluks of the Bangalore Rural District, that is Anekal, Hoskote, Devnali, and Dodballapur. And the sample size consisted of 10 SHGs from each of these taluks, and there were around 50 rural women entrepreneurs from each of these taluks who were interviewed for the purpose, and 40 SHGs also were provided with a structured interview schedule. right? And the sources of information, again, the primary data was collected using a questionnaire and a structured interview schedule, and the secondary data from various journals and reports and government sites. And the tools for data collection that were used were the questionnaire and the interview schedule, and the data was analyzed using percentages and measures of central tendency. And then there was a composite index method of performance rating which was used in order to assess the performance and stability of the SHGs, and a correlation test was also conducted to see the relativity of the sustainable factors and the amount of microcredit that is given, whether it has been able to contribute towards the development of these women entrepreneurs, and a t-test was also done in order to confirm the same. Coming to the findings of our study, the first finding with regard to the status of the rural women in Bangalore rural district, it was identified that the major workforce in this particular district consisted of these rural women who were engaged in the agricultural sector, and there was an absence of property, any kind of a property holding or education or skill levels in these rural women, and therefore it was observed that these rural women live in a VUCA environment, and recognizing the vital need for their development and upliftment, the government saw the significance for entrepreneurial development among these rural women and initiated various government programs, of which one of the most important one is the Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana. Right? So therefore, the emergence of microfinance has proved to be a panacea for rural poor women in the VUCA environment. Coming to the second finding, we'll talk about microcredit as a structured delivery approach. Microcredit in India is provided through the Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana by the central government. It is provided to NABARD. NABARD in turn provides the funding facilities to the RRBs, regional rural banks, and the DCCBs. And in the Bangalore rural district, there were around 6 RRBs and 1 DCCB which was operating. Among them, the Kaveri and Kalpataru Grameen Bank was the one which was very active and one of the largest RRBs which were functioning. Moving ahead, we'll see how the microcredit is delivered in the Bangalore rural district in a structured manner. Okay. In the Bangalore rural district, the microcredit is delivered through the SHG Bank Model 1, wherein the banks are in direct relationship with the SHGs. They take part in the formation of the SHGs, identify those SHGs which are performing well, and then go about lending, say, microcredit to them. And then this kind of an activity is carried out through the various microfinance schemes that are in place in the Bangalore rural district. Some of those schemes which are present are the Gramina Udyoga Khatri Yojane and the Swarna Jayanti Gramina Abhivruddhi Yojane, and then Kaushalya Abhivruddhi Yojane, Asare, Mane Belaku, Udyogini. These are some of the schemes which were present, and especially the last one, that is the Kaushalya Abhivruddhi Yojane, Udyogini and Mane Belaku, concentrated on providing microcredit to these rural women to take up income generating activities. So therefore, these women who took this microcredit from these through these schemes took up either farm-related activities or non-farm related activities, and some of the farm-related activities that they were involved in is mentioned here, that is beekeeping or flower cultivation, mushroom cultivation, cattle rearing, etc., and non-farm related activities such as fruit stalls, vegetable stalls, etc. And the analysis of the data was carried out by in order to evaluate the stability and performance of the SHGs. A particular composite index method was followed, wherein a simple performance rating was done on the basis of certain factors such as attendance in meetings, regularity in savings, record keeping, operation of the bank account, percentage of loan avail. All these were the indicators which were identified and assessed, and weights were given to indicate on their functioning, And most of these SHGs, because they were operating at in a disciplined manner, they were all rated high in this particular performance rating method. And then we could also, coming to the microcredits contribution to rural development, the correlation analysis also with regard to the variables of sustainable factors and the microcredit provided proved to be a positive correlation, and the t-test also showed a high significance. Coming to the third finding, again, with regard to, we've already said that these rural women were living in a VUCA environment, so therefore, with regard to volatility, the microfinance schemes have provided sustainable livelihood activity, have encouraged these rural women to take up sustainable livelihood activities, and therefore resulted in income generation and mitigation of risk, right? And therefore, and then moving to uncertainty, it has, these schemes have contributed through their training programs and capacity building and helped these rural women to network with various other SHGs and learn, then increase their bargaining power because they gain the confidence, and then there is enhanced participation. And coming to complexity, through the structured delivery system, complexity can be countered, and then there's a promotion of income and income generating activities. And lastly, the ambiguity. Ambiguity can be overcome through the SHG bank linkage model 1, which will provide an flexibility in operations and also will be helping them to replicate that model. It can be replicated in any other part of the world or in our country, right? So therefore, volatility lends itself to innovation of microfinance schemes. Uncertainty is countered through networking. Complexity is countered through structured delivery approach, and ambiguity is countered through model replication. Coming to the last finding, that is our suggestions to enhance microcredits delivery approach, special microfinance schemes and financial literacy program, and provide livelihood activities and market linkage. And finally, coming to the model, it's self-explanatory. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Shubha, nice presentation.
Thank you, sir. It's
Now you've seen all the programs, at rural society,
Yes, sir.
what the government of India or Karnataka
it's
has
doing.
introduced.
Yes.
You also have seen, how microfinance has helped, to improve the quality of people there.
Yes.
Why still our villages are called still villages? Why is that, there is no improvement after 60 years?
So I feel although there has been a lot of initiation of all these programs, there's still a lot of work to be done, because our reach, the number of RRBs, if you see, are very, very, low in number. And there must be an increased approach. That's why, when we talk about the Prime Minister's Jan Dhan Yojana, the reach is so big that any bank, anywhere in the country can be accessed, and any kind of, excuse me, any village in the country can be accessed through this particular Yojana. So something like that in the form of, say, providing credit must be carried out at the national level as a mission in order to cover all the villages and bring in that kind of a change which we are trying to see, or which we are wanting to see in the rural world.
Where is that we are failing there?
One could be in the credit delivery approach, because most of these women who are, since our study relates to only rural women, I would concentrate on rural women. These rural women find it difficult to say access credit on their own. So this particular SHG approach has been one of those approaches which has really helped them to come out of their homes and go and learn certain things. And the banks and the NGOs who form a part of this particular system have been very helpful, but a more sustained approach and better, I'd say more of this kind of an activity is required to cover all the whole country as such.
So I'd like to add a point here. Sir, here. I'm a part of this. So I would like to add a point stating that when we talk about the microfinance and when we talk about our population.
Yeah, go ahead.
Professor asked if you were also the...
Not knowing there's another speaker also here, so...
So if we are talking about our population, the schemes here, if you go about seeing, are very few, and our population is so very more. So that is why the concentration should be more on having the schemes, the awareness and the delivery through more RRBs and DCCBs is one. And second thing is the awareness we are talking about. See, basically when we interacted with a small group of people, it was like there's one particular institution which is called as, here in Hebal, if you recall, that, that NGO is taking a lot of interest to bring in that awareness program. So if we have more awareness being created among the rural women that yes, they can be self-employed, I think that can take a long way, sir.
Last question.
Sure, sir.
How do you look this village to look in 2020?
So I think if everything according to Mr. Modi, Mr. Prime Minister, as a set right goes in, I think it'll be, I think I cannot say that completely when we talk about things with our system being restructured, I think all facilities will be availed to them. They will enjoy the benefit.
How does it look like? All facilities is what?
So we are talking about, when we talk about facility, the first one is the, when we talk about the basic amenities to them, we talk about the education, which is very, very important. These two things and the infrastructure according to me.
Request to go to conclusion number 1.
Yes, sir. Finding 1, please.
Finding 1.
So here is the conclusion number 1 or finding number 1. Now please connect to the research objective,
Yes, sir.
hypothesis statement and the evidence thrown by the sample and by hypothesis testing. How you have arrived to this conclusion? Go back to your research objective.
Yes.
or
Research
question.
objective number 1 says to study the status of rural women in VUCA environment in the Bangalore rural district. Right. We have gone about studying the...
So what was the null hypothesis?
So actually here, what happened is like we wanted to go about actually finding out, this is to
Please
an
show the
interview
null
schedule.
hypothesis. Please show the null hypothesis.
We didn't, actually sir, we didn't form a hypothesis for that.
So, if you are doing a research, you are required to form a null hypothesis first
Correct.
for your all objectives,
Yes.
and then you have to test that hypothesis via a test,
Yes.
which is not done here. Go to the second conclusion. Again, connect to the research question, hypothesis, and hypothesis testing,
Yes.
and evidence thrown by the sample.
Yes sir, see here we wanted to prove that whether the delivery is there and
Show
there
the
is a
null
structured
hypothesis
delivery.
on screen.
Sir, that we didn't bring it here on this analysis, sir. Sorry.
So when you have done so much of good work, why you have not prepared null hypothesis?
So we didn't present it here. We thought, we limited ourselves to those number of slides. We'll do it next time, so we'll keep this in mind, your recommendation. Thank you so much.
Any conclusion which is backed up with
We'll do that,
hypothesis
sir.
design
Yes.
or statistical testing, can you
Yes.
show it?
No, sir, we didn't bring that here. And
Sir,
You have done correlation analysis.
Yes, sir. We had taken the sustainable factors and we compared it with the amount of microcredit.
So, can you show the null hypothesis for your correlation test?
We can, I think, show the calculations and...
No, I didn't.
When you
but
have
then we have not
when you
done.
have applied correlation test,
Yes.
so this should be in support of some research
Hypothesis.
objective or some null hypothesis.
So here we can say that the sustainable factors...
What is here in the presentation?
Sorry, sir?
What is here in the
The
presentation?
microcredit
Tried it.
relates to sustainable
Sustainable
development, or microcredit, does not contribute to sustainable development.
So
And
when you got a strong positive correlation.
Yes,
So
sir.
you are proving
It
that.
was- Yes, sir. We are proving that the microcredit amount that were provided to these SHGs has been contributing towards the sustainability of these SHGs.
Last
and
question.
these rural
Yes, sir.
areas.
What is T statistics for correlation coefficient?
These statistics.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. Can
Sorry,
you?
sir.
Okay, well done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
I think I have to go this way.
Ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Radha R. from Ramya Institute of Management Studies. Ma'am's research topic is a study on presentism amongst management teachers in Bangalore.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Radha from Ramya Institute of Management Studies. And today's my research paper is on presenteeism among management teachers in Bangalore. Before I go to the topic, I would like to just expand and tell you why I zeroed in on this particular topic. Absenteeism as such has been spoken so much about. Lot of research has been conducted about absenteeism. All doctoral theses, so many theses.